Hello, good afternoon. This is Paul Cherry Trains, bringing you a video. Now this video is going to be made up of lots of little bits, and it's going to be going over a Hornby Royal Scot, which I bought from eBay. And again, I don't know, I seem to get a bit of a jinx on the things I've been ordering. It was faulty, okay? And I'll show you what the faults were and what I had to do to overcome it. Quite a fiddly job, okay? Should I have sent this back? Possibly. Did I want to fix it? Absolutely. So I got on with it, got my tools and my spanners and everything else, and I fixed it, and now it's running perfectly well around the track. Now I hope you enjoy watching this video, okay? And like I say, I only received this locomotive today. I ran it, it seemed to run alright, and the problem was the valve gear, the slide bars and everything else, well, the crosshead had come out of the slide bars, and so really you just had all of the valve gear flopping around all over the place, but the locomotive still ran. So it may have been that the seller was unaware of the problem, because the locomotive actually ran like it, but it really did look a bit sort of silly with everything flopping around like that. So I did manage to put it all back together again. So I hope you enjoy my little adventure with fixing this. I did not film all of it because it was very fiddly, and it was beyond my abilities to film and do the job at the same time. But I hope you enjoy watching this, and I hope it's helpful. Thank you very much. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to my humble model railway, Bedstead Junction. Now this afternoon's a bit of a special time for me, special day, in that I've got another locomotive. The empty railing ramp there is where a locomotive will be quite shortly, and I suppose you'll be wondering what it is. You want to see it now. This only just arrived in the post this morning, and it's all I've done actually, taking it, out of the outer packaging. I've not even opened this up yet, so I'm not sure what we've got. It's okay. Now what we're looking at is a Hornby Royal Scot. Okay, so that's give you an idea of what we're looking at today. And there's a special reason why I bought this. It's got a special family significance in some ways, okay? And we'll go over that quite shortly. Now, what we will be doing is checking the locomotive over first before we actually decide to, what we're going to do with it and whether we're going to run it today. So, what I would do first of all, I give the box a bit of a shake. I won't do that on live on, but I've given the box a bit of a shake, and there's no rattling in the box, okay, which is always a good sign. It means that there's nothing loose in the box. Okay, now what I do as well, and it's a little tip. I mean, I'm going to be opening this up on my layout, okay. I wouldn't open this up directly over a carpet or anything like that, because if any parts were to fall out into a carpet, they would be a heck of a job to find. So that's why we've got a clear surface like this, where we're going to be opening up the locomotive just quite shortly now. Okay, so first things first, well, let's have a look at what we've got. We've got a lovely picture on the box there, okay. Hornby, tells you it's DCC ready and everything else. Number 6126. What they give you as well is a history on the back, okay, which you can pause that if you wish to read it. And also there's a diagram here, drawings where they obviously did the model from. So let's have a quick look at that. I'll look closer in just a second. Dates drawn 2007. Okay, so this locomotive goes back to the mid-2000s, okay. So we've got some idea about the time of the design, possibly, from Hornby. Got a view of the top of the locomotive there. Probably the word Hornby is upside down there. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? There we go. Okay. And then the bottom of the box, it's just got lots of information on there, like the Hornby's address and things like that. And in fact, it's DCC ready. Now, we remove the outer sleeve. And the locomotive comes in a block of ice packaging, rather like this. Now, some people might say, well, why don't I just get the locomotive out? We want to see, you know, see the goods and everything else. Well, my view is how a locomotive's been packaged, okay, how it's come, is going to give you a great deal of an idea of what you're likely to be getting, and you know how much quality, how much care has gone into the packaging of this. It was very, very nicely packaged by the sender, okay. You can see it looks alright in the block of ice packaging there. Again, I've turned it to one side, looked underneath, I can see no bits in the bottom. So we'll remove this now. We'll see if we can get this out. Oops. Right. Okay, so now we're at a stage where we're down to the block of ice packaging, and we're getting closer and closer and closer to seeing our locomotive. We've got a detail pack there, and it looks like it's also come with the set of instructions. So we'll see what we've got here. The Royal Scot and Patriot class, I'm guessing they've got basically similar chassis and everything else then, and mechanisms. And it's the usual Hornby advice about where to oil the locomotive and how to remove the body. Looks like the bogey's got to come off first, and then you undo the screw underneath. And if you're going to be DCC fitting, that's something which I won't be doing right now, but there's you can put in sound and DCC fitting back there for those of you who are on direct command control. Somebody actually said I use the terminology DCC in my past video. Somebody asked me what it was. Okay, we used to get a lot of those things in meetings over at the AGM, where the DOP is doing this and all these initials. What did DCC stand for? Well, it's digital command control, for those of you who don't know. I mean, some of you are probably shouting at the screen at that, but it's where you can have a lot more features on a locomotive, but it does need a special chip to go into the locomotive, and different controller to the one I'm using today. I'm going with analog, so all the controller comes directly from the controller itself, and really it's all I'm doing from here is, well, you're basically going forwards and backwards, on and off, and faster and slower. That's basically what you can control on analog. But anyway, that's that. So anyway, let's get on to the locomotive itself now. So we've got an outer sleeve here. And then we've got the detail pack. It's got brake rodding in here, steam pipes by the look of things, all sorts of bits and pieces. The front coupling, drain cocks, the works, okay, it's all in there. So we'll put that carefully to one side. You never want to lose the detail pack. Now this one, I've been assured is new, this locomotive. So we'll have a look and see what we've got. Now, like I say, no bits have fallen off. Looks okay to me. Now, so you basically hinge this up like this, and we can take the locomotive out. Carefully remove that. And again, we're checking for pieces which may have fallen off the locomotive, and there's nothing. I can see no pieces falling off. So actually, condition wise, this locomotive is in great condition. Something I just found out here, I don't know if you can see it from here, but there's a sliding cover on top the cab there. That's a nice detail. So it looks like what we've got here is a true full fat model, okay, what we call a full fat, top of the range, as opposed to a railroad. And we'll go over the differences between the Hornby Railroad range and what we've got in front of us now, quite short in the course of the video. Just bear just a moment, I'm just having a bit of a technical hitch. There we go. Yeah, I like to put everything back, if I can, so I know what belongs with this locomotive. So I'm just going to put all the packaging back together again before we actually run the locomotive itself. So please bear with me just for a few minutes. Okay, that's it. Right, so so what I've done is I put the detail pack, the instructions and everything back in the box. Okay, so we won't be losing any of that. Okay, now we've got another locomotive to compare this with, and it's on the track already. Now I don't know if we can get in close to read the nameplate on this particular locomotive. We'll see if we can zoom in. Possibly it might not be clear from here, but what we're looking at, the name of this locomotive is called Royal Army Service Corps. Okay, that's the nameplate you can see just here. Okay, so we're zoomed in as far as we can on that with my camera. Royal Army Service Corps. Now the reason I wanted to buy this locomotive, one of the influences was, well, I wanted to try a modern Royal Scot. Okay, and also my father served with the Royal Army Service Corps back in the 1950s. Okay, and he was very, very sort of proud of the fact that he served with the Royal Army Service Corps. And of course we have to give respect to everybody who's served our country in whatever capacity they have. Okay, and that's really in honour of my father, my late father, who sadly passed away last year. So I wanted to buy this locomotive in memory of my dad. Okay, now it's all in black. It's LMS 6126. The coal load looks lovely. It's not like a heaped up coal load or anything else. Now the first thing I want to know now, well, when we've got sprung buffers, we have front and rear, we have. Okay, well, believe me, we have. We've got the nice whistles represented there. Okay, a plain black livery. All the parts appear to be on there. Nothing's missing. So what we want to do now, what we need to find out, is does this locomotive run? Okay, so what we'll do is we'll get on over to the radar over here now. Get focus on that. And we'll give her a go. Now we can talk about the Royal Scot class as well, and why they were introduced. We'll go over that as well. So if you just bear with me, I'm just going to go and use the radar here. Now, what I would say about using a radar ramp, if you've not got one, I would recommend getting one, just because it makes life easier. It does make it simpler to put things onto the track, especially certain carriages or diesel locomotives and everything else. We'll just make sure the wheels are lined up with that. There we go. So we are now on the track, and we will be adding some carriages in just a moment. But first of all, what we want to check is, do we have all the points set correctly? We do. And we're going to try and see if she runs. Okay, this is the first time we've tried to run this locomotive. So let's see. Forward. And reverse. Perfect. Now I would normally run a locomotive in, okay, and it will be. I will give it the usual running in procedure, but I think what we'll do is we'll give it a little run to solve. They don't ever say in the Hornby instructions that these actually need running in, but I will give it this sort of little gentle running later on. We're going to have a look and see what she looks like with carriages. Wow, perfect runner. So this is going to be a credit to the to the seller of this locomotive. Very, very, very nice locomotive. Very pleased with it. Right, so carriages. I've got some Midland Railway carriages to go with it. And there'll also be another locomotive on the track here. And we're going to compare the two. So we're looking at Hornby top of the range and Hornby Railroad. And also the locomotives that were the predecessors to these to locomotives like the Royal Scots class. Well, it's all going to be done by hand. There we go. So let's see if we can couple up now. I'll be right with you in just a few seconds. Right. Well, that sounded like quite a satisfying coupling. I'm just going to loosen off the tripod a little so I can move it around a bit more. There we go. Right, here we go, the first run of my Hornby Royal Scot. Right, it's pulled away, no problem at all. Right, seems to be running well, no clankiness, no jankiness. Now, there's something I'm not sure about with this locomotive. And we're going to have to, it might be on the surface look alright to you, but to me, there appears to be a problem. And I'm going to show it to, I'm going to switch the camera off and I'm going to go over it with you in just a moment. I'll show you what the problem is, and there's always a peril of buying things from eBay. And I'm sure that this can be fixed, okay? The locomotive runs, believe it or not, it was going around the track. I should pick this locomotive up so I can show you. The crossheads come out, look. It's all flopping about, look. The crosshead's all out. So that needs to be put back before we can run this locomotive. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this for us, okay? So this is another locomotive where, should it go back? Maybe, because if I can't fix this, it's going to be going back like a, well, before we can say anything, okay? Let's see if we can get it fixed, okay? And I'll come back to you quite shortly. Right, so what we've done now is we've moved downstairs to the dining room table. That gives me more room to work. Excuse me. And we can have a better look at the problem. Now, this is what I would advise anybody who's going to be repairing a locomotive like this. I always work inside a little tea tray like this, okay? So if any part should come out, roll away, there's a good chance they'll be caught in the tray. And also, if I move this down here, I'm working on where there's no carpet. It's all laminate floor, okay? I don't know if you can see that very well, but we're on a laminate floor, okay? So, because if you're working near carpet, I can guarantee that you will have something will fall off and you'll have problems. Now we can look at the problem here, okay? Let's see if we can have a look at this properly from here. You can see from here that the crossheads dropped out. Look, the see, so it's come out of the valve chest. Now there's going to be a number of strategies for dealing with this, and I think probably the first thing I would do is I'm going to get the instructions about how to remove the body of this locomotive. But I think what they said was to remove the screw holding the front bogie. That's got to come off, and then there's a screw underneath there which I'll need to remove. So let's take a look now. Now, as part of the preparation, You'll need the right tools for a job like this, and what I bought is I got different sets of screw heads there. I got this screwdriver here where the screw heads are interchangeable. So we're going to try to see if this one can do it. We need to put a cross head in there at the moment. I've got a flat bladed screwdriver there at the moment. So we're going to change over to a cross head. And we'll take a little look and see what we can do here. Right, so I can see the screw just here. Right, that's coming out nicely. Well, I think we've got a job for Mr. Tweezers here now. Let's see if we can get these this screw out. There we are. And what I said about working on a tray, the screw just rolled out then. Now another tip which I think I'll share with you, and it's all tips and things. I hope you stay with me on this repair video. It could be quite a lengthy one, this, and I may have to suspend recording if I end up swearing. Okie dokie, so let's have a look. Now if you're worried about putting locomotive parts and dealing with locomotive parts, something you can use is an old pill box like this, okay, an old Dosset box, okay, and you can put the parts in there in the order which you remove them, say from left to right. Then when you turn it round that way, you know, you're starting from there, okay? But I won't be doing that today because I've got all my parts quite safe. So we'll put that to one side. But that is an ideal for anybody who's working on, wants to store their parts. So let's have a look. So we need to remove the front bogie. Out comes the front bogie, that's good. So that's nice and easy. And I'll keep the screw as close as I can to the bogie. There we go, so we know that's that. And I always put the guard back on the tweezers after I finished because they are quite sharp. Now let's have a look. The body screw appears to be here. And what I tend to use, this screwdriver is magnetic. So you've got a fair chance that the you won't lose the screw. Shit, is there anything else got to come off of here, like a speedo drive or anything? Right, okay. So what I've done is I've actually removed the body now, and we've immediately got a better view of the problem. Now you can see from, now what I'd like to do as well on these, and I'm going to do this for this repair today as well. We're going to get tool X6468. I should have done this maybe before I remove the body, but it don't matter. It's all easily done. Here we go. Underneath you go. And X6468. Right, okay, can't quite reach that from here yet. So I think we need to remove the screw here now. So we're going to back to a flat bladed screw now. So this is where I always keep all my putting back the bit straight back in the hole there. So we're going to be removing the screw and the drawbar from here. And what we want to do, I want to separate the locomotive and the tender. In fact, I'm glad I did, because that screw was loose. Okay, so that's the drawbar screw. You can see it's a much bigger screw than the others. That's good. Well, I'll be back with you in just a few moments. Right, okay, that plug was a little bit difficult to remove, but I did get it out. With this thing here, it grips the plug. You can pull that out without damaging the wires. So what we've got now is we have separated the tender from the locomotive chassis. So now we're gradually getting stripped down the parts we want to repair. Now, what I'll do now is I'll be looking at this side and seeing how it all's supposed to go. We'll move back around here. Now, I think what we're going to have to do is to get this back in, we can do one of two things. I can either slacken off the valve chest to move that up, or I can undo a con rod so I can push everything back and get it all put in that way. So we need to have a little think. I'm going to stop the camera just briefly, just while I have a little think to myself. I should have a record button at the back. Right, hello. So, right now this was a little bit fiddly. What I had to do was I needed one of these, which is a crank pin spanner. I had to undo the connecting rod here. I was able to move everything back so I could, with tweezers, put this all back together again here on the crosshead. You can see it's all back together again. I didn't want to film it because it was really fiddly, okay? And I was finding it difficult to put all this back together, but it's done now. Okay, so now we've got a locomotive that will be hopefully fit for service. Now it feels quite well lubricated. I can feel the grease everywhere on this, so it looks like it's okay. We can see now I managed to put all this back together again. So let's say, just to recap, that crank pin had to come out there. There's a lever there that's got to be put back in the right position as well, and that enabled me to move everything back so I could put this crosshead back in into the slide bars. Okay, so what we've got now, we've got the everything back together as far as I can tell. Now while I'm here, Can't be sure at the front there. I've done as much as I can to check that these are done up here. I do need to rotate the chassis round a bit to be able to get at the other bolts. Right, so I think next stage will be to try to get the body back on, and then we can attach the tender together with the and the drawbar. Yeah, so I think we'll go that route now. So I think the body goes back on next. I'll be back with you in just a few moments when I've done that as well. Okay, so let's put all this together. Right, now we're back upstairs away from the table. Now what I've actually done since I broke off, well, I took a little rest. It was very, very fiddly putting that valve gear back together again. I didn't film myself doing that, so I would have found it, you know, that and filming all at once would have been too much for my abilities. But I've managed to get the locomotive back together again. Now, what it involved, and I don't know if we can get down and see, what had happened was that the valve gear had dropped out. I don't know if we can get this onto the Lazy Susan and we can get a better look. Let's just see now. I'll film this handheld in order to get in there and reach it. Right, now bear with me just a moment, I'll be right with you, and then we can see how we can get this filmed. Now, it's right down here, look. See where the... if I can get enough light down here. Let's have a look and just see. Bear with me. There we go. Right, so we'll see if we can find something to point with. It's all handheld and wiggly now. Sorry about this. Just so I can get in close. There, down here. This had to come apart, okay. I can see there's a lever coming down there. I don't know if we can get enough light in there. Just about see enough detail there now. That had to come apart so that the slide bars could go in. In fact, what I'm going to do is we'll probably try and lift up. I don't know whether or not I want to lift up the locomotive to show you this. And the camera keeps trying to adjust. But those slide bars had to go back together again here. And that's what fallen apart. In fact, all the valve gear was dropping down on the floor. But now all that's back together again. I'm going to try to get... well, that's a bit better, isn't it? We can see it better there. So the crossheaded... sorry about my amateurish filming here. The crosshead needed to be put back together again. That's what had dropped out. The crosshead had dropped out of there. But it involved me taking this apart here. I needed a crank pin spanner. Okay, nut spinner. And also I looked at the other side for reference, how it all went back together again. So this is tricky getting this piece back in as well. But I managed to do it. You can see where the nut is there, right, what to undo. I was able to slide all this back in again and get it fixed. Now the body's back on again now. So I suppose what you would want to know more than anything else is, have I successfully fixed this locomotive? Now we're going to go back onto the tripod again. And again, sorry about the wiggly camera work and everything else, but I thought, well, the best way to get this illustrated to you is to go handheld for a bit. Sorry about this, I'm trying to get back on the tripod. There we go, we're back. Sorry about this. Right, here we go. So we'll just zoom back out again. And we'll just move a few things to one side. Now I could have sent this locomotive back, yes. Could I have been justified in doing that? Yes. But I'm one of those people, I'm pretty call me old fashioned, call me obsessive, call me what you like. When I see something that's broken, I know I can fix it, I'll fix it. Or I know there's a good chance I can fix it, I'll always have a go. And I think, I mean, I did pick this one up quite cheap actually, compared to others of the same make that was on there. I don't know how that valve gear came out. I mean, whether or not it was a problem with assembly, I do not know. We're just going to change the points. We're going to run this one round without the carriages. Okay, so, and then we'll put the carriages on in just a moment. Right, here we go. Have we made a successful repair? So let's put her in reverse. Yes. Forward. Yes. And we are now going round the track, and that valve gear is not falling apart and flopping around all over the floor like it was earlier. So the locomotive was running. It was actually running with the actual crosshead completely out of the slide bar. That was what, all that was wrong was that the crosshead had come out of the slide bar. Okay, I don't know how that would have happened. Maybe somebody did that with rough handling. Maybe it just went back in the box. But anyway, I'm not going to say anything against the seller. Maybe the seller wasn't aware of the problem, because it did run perfectly well, even with the slide bar and the crossheads not correctly assembled. But now we've got this perfectly back together again now, running beautifully, and I'm quite actually pleased. Like I said, I wanted to run this locomotive and get it repaired. I especially wanted this one because it's Royal Army Service Corps, and it reminds me of my father, who served with the Royal Army Service Corps back in the 1950s. And that's how we met my mother, actually, when he was on leave one day, and he sort of rocked up in his army vehicle and his uniform and everything else, and the rest was history. And quite emotional, really. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video so far. Now we're going to do a running session later on, and we'll be showing this locomotive as it should have been out of the box. Okay, so if you like what you see, please press the like button and subscribe. Okay, and what I would say is, if you ever want to do a repair of this nature on the locomotive like this, have a look at what the other side looks like. Take pictures as you go, okay? And you need a lot of patience, a steady hand, proper set of screwdrivers, tweezers, the tool for removing the plug from the tender, and also you need a nut spinner to undo the crank pins. Okay, if you've got all the right tools, and and you just take your time, you'll have a reasonable chance of success. Okay, so we shall break off for now and say, if you like what you see, please press the like button and subscribe, ring that bell. You'll be made aware of future videos, and the next video I'll be showing is going to be my Royal Scot running complete with carriages, and then we'll be talking about the Royal Scot and also about our lovely compound locomotive over there with the Fowler tender. Okay, so thank you very much for watching, and I shall bid you farewell and bye bye.